on. Piece of no good piece of garbage. It's gonna be a long day. So let me tell you a little of this backstory on how I ended up here today. I bought this truck about 2 years ago, and when I bought it, the exhaust was in shambles. One of the Y pipes was rusted out, the other one wasn't connected all the way, and one day I was driving and the Y pipe just fell off. Now I prefer to do most of the work on my vehicles myself, but at the time I figured it's going to be better to pay somebody to put this exhaust on because they can bend Y pipes and do the things that I couldn't do at the time. So I ended up just paying a guy to put my exhaust on. I gave him the old Y pipe that fell down and it still had the oxygen sensor attached to it. And instead of him replacing the bung or telling me that I needed a new oxygen sensor, he just cut the old bung off and welded it on the new Y pipe. So now this bung and oxygen sensor are pretty much fused together. So I'm gonna have to more than likely go to the extreme on this to replace this oxygen sensor. So let me show you how I'm gonna do this. Okay, first, let me walk you through the progression of this if you wasn't in such a bad predicament like I am. The first thing you need is you need to have some oxygen sensor sockets. You can see they're just cut out here to allow the socket to slide over with the wire still attached. You need to also go through and make sure that you soak it down with some sort of penetrating fluid. And you may get lucky if you have the opportunity. You could start your vehicle, let it get a little warm, spray it down with some penetrating fluid, let it cool down, start it up, let it get warm, spray it down with some penetrating fluid, then try to break it loose using a socket and a ratchet. You really don't want to use an impact if you don't have to, because you may destroy the threads of the bung as the oxygen sensor is coming out, especially if they've been in there a while. So you want to take your time and go real easy, back and forth, work it out if you can get it to break loose. If you can't get it to break loose, then you're going to need to heat it up yourself. You want to use, at the minimum, MAP gas to do it. Propane is not going to be hot enough unless you have an oxygen mixture with it. And you want to get that thing cherry red. Now, I didn't have the opportunity to use the oxygen socket because it's stripped. I cut the wires on mine, as you can see, and I tried to get it loose and it's stripped. So it's been sitting like that for a while, and I've been running off just the one oxygen sensor and allowing the vehicle to just use a default setting, which in turn makes it run rich. So that's why I want to fix it. And if you get to the point to where you can't get it to break loose and you've heated it up as glowing red as you can get it, there's nothing else you're going to be able to do at this time. You're going to need to just keep heating it, cooling it, heating it, cooling it, and you're going to have to just keep trying to work it out. It'll come out. You're just going to have to spend a little time with it. You may also be able to cut the wires like I did and just find you a wrench, and you can slide the box in over the oxygen sensor and take you a mini sledgehammer and tap. Just keep working it. Tap, work it, tap, work it. It'll come out. If you strip it, you get to the point to where I am, then you could try to use these Cobra pliers or vice grips or pliers, anything you can use to get a hold of it. And as you can see, I tried it, and all I did was crush the oxygen sensor. So now I'm to this point. This is the most extreme point you're going to get to in this. Now, I wouldn't recommend, unless you're comfortable in your abilities, with a Sawzall, a grinder, and a welder. You don't have to be the best welder in the world, but you got to know how to weld a little bit. Then I wouldn't do this. I would take it and get it done professionally. But from this point on, this is just for entertainment purposes, because I don't want you to put you in a bad predicament. So like I said, don't try this unless you're absolutely 100% confident you're going to be able to finish this job. And if you get to the point to where you can't finish it if you try, then just go ahead and pay somebody to do it. There's no shame in asking for help. So let me show you what I did here. Now, as you can see, I've tried to look for a flat point in this Y-pipe to where I could cut this with a Sawzall and be able to weld around it all the way with as much ease as I can. It's hard to weld laying down on the ground up underneath something. And the welds are going to look horrible, I know, because I'm not the best welder in the world by far, but I'm going to make sure it just seals to where we don't have any exhaust leaks. So then you want to take your Sawzall and just cut it. And I tried to cut this as straight as possible, but I didn't do a very good job because, once again, it's hard to cut laying straight up and down, but I cut it good enough to where I'll be able to weld this just fine. So now you can see I've got the Y-pipe off. I took the nuts out from the flange on the exhaust manifold. They came out easy. Sometimes those can be hard. And if you strip them, then I would recommend investing in some bolt extractors. Now, no matter what, you should have these in your garage. And I will put a link down below that you can find these right here. And these are really good. And even on the tool trucks for a lot of parts, that's what you'll get, Irwin, for a lot more. These here will bite into a strip nut bolt and remove it. So if you're to that point, which I have been, then you may need to have these to remove the nuts. So now that I got this off, you can look at this hack job this guy did. I paid him $300 and something to do this. And you can see this hack job right here. This is going to restrict my exhaust flow, but I'm not going to be able to do nothing about it right now. So all I'm going to focus on is cutting these garbage welds off this guy did. I'm going to remove this bung, and all I'm going to do is I have a bung that I've already purchased. I'm going to re-weld this bung in the same spot. You want to keep, your oxygen sensor needs to be a certain distance from your exhaust manifold. I could just drill a hole and put this closer, but I'm just going to do it the right way now that I got it off. And I'm just going to cut this, and I'm going to weld this on. We're going to screw this down. Then I'm going to take this and place it back on the vehicle and weld the pipe back together. So let's get to it here. You guys can watch, and I hope you enjoy it. got the buffer bag. I'm just kidding. Now, as I said, this is an extreme case here. Is this method for everybody? No. Like I said, if you're not 100% confident in your ability to use a Sawzall, a grinder, and a welder, then I would just pay somebody to do it. But if you want to undertake something like this, then you see now there are options. Was this the only way? No. Was it the best way? For me, yes. But what did we learn today? First, we learned that you can actually fix an oxygen sensor that has been welded together to the bung, basically. Second, we learned, be careful who you pay to work on your vehicles, because this guy was obviously a hack with no regard for the next man, just wanted to hurry up, get this job done, and get paid. And I paid him a pretty good penny for this too. $300-something to weld a couple pipes up is a lot of money, in my opinion. I would do it for a lot less, and I would do it a 10 times better job than what that guy did. But a guy like him, to me, is the lowest form of a mechanic or a professional that there is. I take pride in my work. I want to do a good job. I want to do the best job, especially if somebody's paying me to do it. Then I'm going to give them the best service, the best performance that I can possibly give. But not everybody's like that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you scroll down real quick, hit that subscribe button, because I'm going to keep posting more videos like this, how-tos, projects, tool reviews, and more. So I hope you stick around. But till next time, y'all, stay real.